How are you? Oh my goodness, it's been a minute, right? It's been a little minute. I think my last video might have been like last year sometime. But here I am, right? I just wanted to come and talk to y'all for a little bit. I'm not trying to hold y'all long at all. I just want to talk, chat, and update you on what's going on and get back into what I used to do and get back to what I love. As you can see, the setting is a little bit different, right? So, I am at my parents' house and a lot has changed. I'm over here wasting oil everywhere. A lot has changed. So before we get started, I just want to say hello. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will be doing a roller set on my hair. So I'm debating on whether or not I'll like show the after, but this video is really just to kind of do my hair and chit chat and talk. So grab your tea, girl. Grab your coffee or whatever it is. It's Sunday, like after. It's not even noon right now, so get you some coffee, or some tea, okay? And we'll get started that way. But yeah, I've already deep conditioned my hair. I've already detangled it and everything. I am just about to put some rollers in it, and I'm just gonna let it air dry all day long. And I may take them out tomorrow, or I may not. Depends on if I go anywhere. But um, I just want to. I just had some braids actually about 2 weeks ago, and I took them out like last week sometime. So I just want to do something different with my hair, right? But just to kind of show y'all what I'm working with and how my hair is looking. I think maybe the last video, I have to go back and see, but my hair might have been blonde. Girl, that blonde is long gone. Color does not last in my hair long at all. But my hair, just to kind of show y'all what it's looking like, because it's been so long since I've done a hair video and talked about natural hair. It's been forever, right? So let me just show y'all what I'm working with um, here. Okay, so here we go. Oh wait, it's another one. It's another one back here somewhere. Here we go. This is what I'm working with, and ta-da! So my hair is wet, as you can see. I need a little trim, but this is it. It's nice and soft, and we're about to get with it. All right. So to set my hair, I will be using the Dew Mousse Definition Texture Foam. So it looks like this. And I'm just gonna start from the back and work my way up. So all I have is some clips, my mousse, I have a towel, and I have a white tooth comb and my rollers. And the rollers that I'm gonna be using is nothing fancy, honey, but we just gonna be using these babies right here. So let's just start off with, where I left y'all off at, right? And what has happened. So my lease was up was about to be up in North Carolina. I had been in Greensboro for about 4 or 5 years, and my lease was up. So I was debating back and forth, like, do I want to stay in North Carolina or do I want to come home? And the reason I say that is because my mom was sick. She had been diagnosed with cancer around April of last year, and my dad, she was his caregiver. So um, I just wasn't sure. Do I need to just come home and move back home? What am I doing? Do I want to come home and move back home, or do I want to stay in North Carolina and just travel back and forth with my mom and dad like I was doing, right? And so I was in a relationship at the time, and that had a lot to do with my decision too, because I was like, oh, I don't want to leave him, and that was just my new life. Like I wasn't ready to leave North Carolina yet, so I just was back and forth. But long story short, I ended up moving back home to Greenville. So the move gets here. I had some movers help pack me up, and they were really nice. They moved me here to Greenville, and before I actually let me back up. Before I moved back, I was looking at for my own place here. So I had did my own tours and looked around to see what I like, because I did not want to move back in with my parents, right? And I ended up finding a loft here in Greenville that I really liked. And I've always wanted a loft. If you know me, if you're friends with me, you know I've always talked about wanting a loft and having a loft. And I even looked at lofts, and back then I couldn't really afford them. But now I was in a position where I could afford it, and I was like, if I'm gonna, take this opportunity, we have lofts here in Greenville. Why not look into a loft, right? So I did look into a loft. I came here and did some tours. um, the loft that they were gonna put me in, they were like full, so the models were not the loft that I would actually be in, right? So I went ahead and said, okay. They couldn't send me videos because people were living in the loft that they were going to put me in at the time. They couldn't send me pictures and whatnot. So even when the people moved out, I was still asking for pictures and video. For whatever reason, they couldn't send them. Okay, whatever, cool. So I'm just trusting that I'm going to love this loft. Long story short, I get here, the movers move me here. I get to the loft, and it's nothing like what I toured. It's nothing like what I wanted. I said, yeah, no, this ain't gonna work. I was so depressed because I was so excited for this loft, y'all. End up having to move back in with my mom and daddy. The day of my move, like, they were not planning for me to come here. Like, I just ended up having to come back here. Talk about somebody wanted to kick and scream like a big baby. It was a really rough day for me. And I know you probably like, Sierra, there's other things to worry about, which is right. But I was just really hoping to get this loft. I ended up moving back in with my mom and dad. That was around August, I believe, of last year. And my mama, she was happy for me to come home. She wanted me home. You know, she would say, you know, you can come stay with us and we can save some money. We can do this. She was saying that for the longest. And I was like, yeah, I know. But I ended up, hey, having to come back home. So I moved in with my parents, which really it worked out because my mama and daddy did need me. My mom was going through chemo treatments, and she also was taking care of my daddy by herself. So she did need me, or just need help, you know. And so I ended up moving back in and helping her out. In the midst of me moving back in, I was interviewing for other jobs, and um, I was like going through a lot. Like, just when I was starting to get a little depressed because I was in the house with my mom and daddy. I didn't want to be here. And I know, you know, there was a bigger picture, of course, but at the time I saw the bigger picture, but I still just wanted my own space. I have a whole dog and a big crate. It was just a lot. Like, I'm a grown woman, honey. I have grown woman things. I had to put all my stuff in a storage. I was just like, I literally had like a few bags of clothes that was just clothes I threw in a bag, so nothing was like intentional. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, I'm back in my little bit of childhood room. This ain't even enough space. I ain't got enough closet space. Like, I just can't. So I was really sad. I cried the whole day for that day when I got home to my mom's house. I cried and cried. I think I might have cried for about a week. Like, I kid you not. Like, I was depressed. Um, so then I ended up, what I ended up doing? So, you know, time goes by. I'm in my parents' house. But my mother's health starts to decline and my daddy's health starts to decline. Like, they both just going through a lot, right? I'm taking my mama to chemo treatments while at the same time we're both taking care of my dad. My dad is maximum assist, so he had a stroke a few years ago that put him in the condition he's in now. So we do a lot for him, like cleaning him, prepping his meals. He can feed himself and everything, but giving him his medication, giving him his showers, all that stuff. Like, we do everything, washing his clothes, like everything, you know. And so my mama was doing all of this, so I helped, you know, start doing that stuff with her, and then helped take her to her chemo treatments. Around October, my mom really just started to not really get better. She started to get care in the house, and my siblings were coming to like kind of help out as well, and they were a really big help. And so, and then my dad, he kind of went down as well with his health, and so he ended up having to be in a rehab facility because, you know, just a lot going on. So, so he's in a rehab facility not too far from the house, and then we're, you know, still taking care of my mom. Fast forward to December now. My dad went into the rehab facility in December. It was like right before Christmas when he got out. So Christmas Day gets here, and by then, my mom is on hospice care, y'all. So the nurse that was coming to take care of my mom, one day she came here and she looked at my mom. She was like, I'm really concerned. And she just told me that we feel that she needs a higher level of care. And they started her on hospice care. Now, when she told me that, I'm supposed to be doing my hair, sorry. When she told me that she was putting my mom on hospice care, I heard hospice, but for some reason, no one ever said, like, your mom is dying. Like, she doesn't have long, or she has this many days. We never asked, and my mama never asked. My mama didn't care. My mother believes in the Lord, and she has faith, and whatever the outcome was, my mama, you ask her, she was okay. She was okay. So we never asked for anything. And even when they put her on hospice care, I didn't look at it like, oh no, my mom is dying. Like, I don't know. Maybe because they never said it, I just looked at it like, okay, let's get this higher level of care. And, you know, because we do need help. Like, my mom, she was in a lot of pain and she wasn't eating and she could barely get out the bed. It was just like a lot of that. So Christmas Day gets here and my mom was she did hospice in her room, so she had a hospital bed up there with her, and she was like, Sierra, I remember sitting beside her bed, and she said, Sierra, I'm ready to go. And I'm looking like, what that mean? Like she was like, I'm ready to go. Um, it will be okay. That's literally what she said. I just remember her laying there. She had her eyes closed. She said, Sierra, I'm ready to go. It'll be okay. And I said, what? Excuse me? When she said that, that's probably the moment I knew it was real. Like that's the moment I knew that my mother was letting go and was ready to go. Like she said, you know, I hadn't heard anyone say that. I hadn't heard her say that. I hadn't heard the nurses say anything. But my mother, for her to say that, I said, okay, okay. So I bursted out crying. Like I just lost it. My sister and her husband came in here and she was holding me and it was we just I told my sister what she said and we were all like no 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 but that's what she said. She told me to call the EMS to send her to the hospital because she was in a lot of pain. We did that. We called EMS. So me and both of my sisters were at the hospital with her on Christmas Day. um, and she was there. They ended up putting her in a hospice facility to like help her with her medication, and then they sent her back to the house a few days later. So I want to say the night before that, actually, before Christmas, it was Christmas Eve. That was the last time I actually had a conversation with my mama. She was talking, but she was still kind of just saying, you know, she was like talking about bills and paying bills, and she was like, "Did I pay the house bill? Did I do this? It's something else I need to pay." Like she was straight talking about bills all that night, and I had them on video as well. Like she was just talking about paying bills, and I was like, "Mother, it's Christmas Eve. We're not gonna worry about the bills, okay? We have bigger fish to fry here." And she was talking about those bills, honey, and that's the last conversation that I had with my mama. Other than after that, she started to get really irritable and just in pain, and she was ready to go, like she said. So then, after she came home from hospice care, that's when she was just home, and we didn't hear her speak anymore after that. She may have tried to mumble a few words to someone every now and then, but she didn't really speak anymore after that. It was her starting her transition. What I mean by transition is my mother was just laying in the bed and she was looking up at the ceiling and she didn't say anything else. And she was just there. She was in that state for about, what, 2 weeks or so? Like it was a long time actually. And we would just come in every day. We would check on her. The nurses, the hospice nurses were so great. They would come and take care of her. They would still bathe her. They would check her, give her medication. We would talk to her. Her friends and family came to visit. It was just like that, like for 2 weeks every day. People were coming to the house and people were showing up with food and doing all kind of stuff. It was really nice that people, you know, were stepping out of their way to do that for us. And January 11th is when my brother came in the room and he said, Sierra, I think she's gone. And I got up out the bed and I went straight upstairs. And for me, it wasn't like I didn't fall out and scream or like you see in the movies when people pass away. It can be very hard, and everyone is, you know, handles it differently. But for me, at least, it kind of felt like a relief. But then it hit me, you know. But at the same time, I was so glad that she was no longer in the pain that she was in. Like she was in some serious pain, and she was just hanging on for the longest. And I wondered like why she was holding on for so long, and it may have been because you know my brother had to come in town. My sister, she ended up having all of her children there with her. My dad was home. I was like we were all home, and yeah, the hospice nurse came and they called it. And so that was the experience that day. It was quiet in the house. Um, she was there. We saw her take my mom out. Like it was we experienced something that I never would have thought happened so soon. Like I just would have never thought that this would happen when it happened. And I wasn't prepared. Like I really wasn't prepared to lose my mother as quick as we did, but I was prepared. She did prepare me for what I'm doing today. So we ended up having to wait on her to have her funeral service because she is at a veteran cemetery because my dad is a veteran. So she wasn't buried until later on, like a few weeks later, actually. But she looked really good. The service was great. The solo was great. The remarks, everyone did such a great job and spoke truth about my mom. Like it wasn't no lies up there. Like it was just real. She wanted a closed casket, so that's what we did. Her spray was beautiful. Everything was just perfect. So thank y'all for everyone that was involved and really helped out a lot and sent your prayers and your condolences. I truly appreciate it. That was a hard, tough time, and we're still, just like anyone, like we still going through the motions, but I'm in a better place. I can say that for myself. I am in a much better place than where I was. So since then, what have I been doing? I am still here with my dad. I take care of him full time as well as work my 9 to 5. So with all of that and me being in the state of mind that I was in at the time, y'all, YouTube and content creation just wasn't something I could do. I just didn't feel like it. I wasn't in the mood to do it. Heck, I wasn't in the mood to do nothing. Like I wasn't even in the mood to clean up my room and clean up the house. Like when I tell you my friends and my sisters, I remember one day my sister had surprised me. I was gone. I don't know where I went, but I was gone somewhere. And I came home and my sister had cleaned my room for me. Like that's just how bad it was. Like when someone has to clean up for you, the plants around me were all dying. My friend was like, Sierra, when last time you watered the plants? I hadn't even looked at these plants and didn't even notice that they was dying until she said something. She came and watered all my plants. Like, y'all, I just didn't feel like doing nothing. Nothing. I was already having to take care of my dad, and that's something that it was hard for me to accept becoming a caregiver. Boy, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that I can take care of my daddy. Okay, but doing that and being stuck in that role, and I felt like I was being forced to be in a position that I didn't ask to be in. I was being forced to be in a situation that I didn't want to be in. I didn't want to move back home. I wasn't ready to lose my mom. I wasn't ready to take care of my dad in a way that my mom took care of him. I had never seen my dad naked. I had never cleaned him. I had never did any of that. And so when I started doing that, I darn near had a panic attack. Like I was like, oh, no. And my dad didn't really want me to do that either. He was looking for my mama, when she was still here. He was like, no, I want her to do it. And we were like, she can't, it's me. You got me. So I ended up doing it, and we're in a much better place. I ended up seeking help for him. So I do have caregivers that come on the weekends. So I have one here now for him, and they come on the weekends, and that's about it. And then they also do come like if I go out of town or if I have weddings and photography stuff I have to do. I have family here, but then I also have them that they come out to help with that as well. So we're slowly but surely trying to figure things out. We've even tried an adult daycare center, which I did like it, but I just couldn't. We can't afford to do both the daycare center and a caregiver. It's like that stuff is high. When I tell you, I done learned a lot about stuff like caring for parents and all that, like how much it costs and looking into, you know, homes and support all kind of ways. It's a lot. It is a lot. So, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So, if y'all got any resources out there, please help a sister out because it's a lot. But that, and then what else are we doing? Just know I'm in a much better place, right? So, I was really down. I said some things about myself that I would have never thought would have came out my mouth, right? I was down, and hey, oh yeah, we can do that. I hadn't. It's just the spaghetti. We can just warm it up in the microwave. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, we just fixed my dad some lunch. I had made some spaghetti yesterday, so we just heated that up for him, or Miss B heated it up for him. Um, all right, what am I talking about? Okay, so what am I doing now? So now I'm in a better place when it comes to taking care of my dad. Like I had to let some things go, and I just had to really. I found myself just beating myself up and comparing myself a lot to other people's lives, and I just started to feel really bad, and down and depressed, like if you will. So here lately, I said I want to make a change, and the Lord told me to do what I used to do. In Revelations 2:5, I believe, he says that you need to repent and do the things that you did first, right? Because you've forgotten those things. And I was listening to Pastor Stephen Furtick with Elevation Church, and that's where he reminded me of that. And so I said, let me just get back to doing, like, Lord, forgive me for not being grateful. Forgive me for just focusing on the things that I wanted so much that, I'm not seeing how you are blessing me. Like, there's a lot of things that have changed in my life that I'm blessed to have, and I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and I've gotten a new job, I'm making more money, I'm, doing a lot. And I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful. And I'm also grateful that I'm able to be able to take care of my dad in the way that I am. I'm glad that he's still here with us. He's had a lot of health concerns and scares, but the Lord is still keeping him. So I'm so grateful for that. And just having to put myself in a different perspective and focusing on me and what the Lord has put me on assignment to do right now. So that's what I'm doing now. I am still doing photography. I'm focusing primarily on weddings. The fall season is coming up, so I have fall minis coming up in October, and then for Christmas, y'all, we're gonna do some elegant Christmas minis. Okay, so we're gonna be doing that, and then what else is new? Anything else new, y'all? No, I don't think nothing else going on really. But the moral of the story is this: your feelings, the things that you go through. This is one thing that I've definitely learned. Going through what I'm going through. The things that you feel is valid. Like your feelings and how you feel in the moment is valid. And I was guilty of feeling guilty for how I felt, right? I felt like I shouldn't feel like this, and I shouldn't want these things and all of that. And I felt guilty about it. But I was reminded to just, it's valid how you feel. Doesn't mean stay in those feelings, right? It doesn't mean to just always feel that way and to not get out of that funk that you're in, right? And so I had all kinds of feelings and still do. Like I'm still working on forgiveness in my heart. I'm working on, being content and joy, keeping joy in my heart. And one of the things that Pastor Stephen said was, you don't get your passion back and get your joy back just by praying for it to come back, right? He said you have to practice what you once did. You have to make an intention to do the things that you once loved, if that's your passion. And so that's what I'm doing. Like me doing this YouTube video, it's not the easiest for me, to be honest, but it's time. Like it's been about 8 months since all of this went down, since my mom passed, and I just am coming up to a point where I want to be happy, I want joy, and I want whatever it is that God has for me. Like I'm just like, God, give it to me. Like I want it. And help me through this season to just be content in where you have put me, to not rush the things that I'm wanting in life, because there's so many goals that I have, there's so many things that I want, and when I look at other people doing some of the things that I wish I was able to do it now, I just start to get down. But I'm like, focus on you, Sierra. What is it that God has you doing in this season? And look at where God has brought you. Like, y'all, when I tell you, I remember when I didn't have half of the camera equipment that I have now, when I didn't have, my car is paid off, y'all. I paid my car off last year. Like I'm just, like I said, my finances has increased, and I have a roof over my head. Like I'm able to take care of my dad and be here with him and spend time with him. Like I'm so grateful for the friendships that I have. My friends have been, looking out for me, checking on me, taking care of me. Like when I tell you, so many people took care of us during this time frame, of just grief and going through what we went through. And I'm just grateful. I'm just forever grateful. So I have to constantly remind myself that and put it in perspective for myself all the time. Like this joy that I have, that I'm working on keeping and getting and growing even stronger in, is not just something that I had to pray for. Like it's something I have to practice. Like I have to do those things. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. My goal is to do the things that I once loved. I also want to lose some weight. Okay, can we lose some weight over here? Cause honey, if y'all look back at my other videos, y'all probably gonna be like, what happened? But I want to lose some weight, so I do have a Peloton. Oh shoot, that I am. I don't ride it as often as I should be riding it. I'm broke, but I'm gonna get back on it. So I'm gonna get on it after this. I'm gonna ride my bike, and I'm just gonna try to, feel good about myself, feel better about myself, and give myself grace. Give yourself grace, y'all. Give yourself grace. Like, God is good. He is taking care of all of us, and there's so much that we want to do in this world, but be patient. Trust God that He knows the desires of your heart. Just you really have to just trust Him to see it through, and He can do all things. We about done, y'all. We got like a little bit section here. Let me see. Let me hurry up and knock this out. All right, last section. And my arm's tired. Really? Where was it supposed to go? Really though? Really though? Okay. All right. And we are done. All right, that's it. So my hair is rolled, honey. I might come back tomorrow and do a takedown, depending on how I look. I don't know, but depending on when I take it down, right? So, but we're done. This is just to get me through the week because I don't really feel like doing my hair, so I can just unroll it and call it a day. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. There will be more videos. Fall meetings. Vlogmas will be coming up towards the end of the year, and I'm also going to be vlogging more in October, November. So just bear with me. I am coming back. I don't really know the cadence yet, but we're working on it. We are working on it. I'm working on me. So thank y'all for your patience. Thank you for still sticking around. Those of you who have and watched this video to the end, I truly appreciate it. I love y'all, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Talk to you next video. Bye.